So here's the next one I'm going to work on, or at least attempt to work on. It is a Garden Pride branded push mower. I don't even know who made them things. This thing's probably older than I am. Oh, Southland Mower Corporation. So I've seen a couple of others. Can't think of the brands off the top of my head that have been made by Southland that I've had. I don't know if one of the Sycamores that I had are made by Southland. I have to check. But it's got a 3.5 horse Briggs. It's got the Pulsa Prime auto choke type carburetor on it. Oil I checked. Oil is a little low, but overall is relatively clean. And whoever had this thing looked like, or they like cutting on the ground with it, because they've got all the wheels set. It's non-adjustable wheels, except when you unscrew them and screw them back in. They got them set to the lowest setting possible. So they like cutting on the ground. The blade just needs to be sharpened. Overall, it's in decent shape. Who knows what it's like in here? Oh boy, yeah, pretty rough. So I'll drain out the tank too. Try some fresh gas. Maybe I'll get lucky with this one. Fortunately, these carb diaphragms are not very cheap for these older Briggs, and I could put a newer style on it, but I'm just not a huge fan of doing that. I like keeping these kind of true to their form, so to speak, just because they run much better with the original carburetor and stuff on them. But yeah, here it is. I mean, it's not very glorious, but it does have the bigger back wheels on it, the mini bicycle wheels on it. So, and everything else on it seems to be in okay shape. Blade's not really, or the deck is not really rusted out on it. Pretty heavy duty deck on it for it to just be a run-of-the-mill push mower. So yeah, just let me see what I have here. I'll take off the air filter and see, well, real quick, the condition of the carburetor and all that. Then I could find the model year of the mower here for y'all real quick too. Now, I've seen worse, I've seen better, but most part it looks like it's okay. Oh, the inside of the carburetor here, look at it. It looks pretty good for what it is. That works still. Looks very, very clean. I wonder if it had just been recently replaced with something. It's like the spring is a little froze up. Probably because of the way the throttle cable is on it. Okay, full throttle. Looks like it's about where it needs to be, which is good. Just have to lube the carb butterfly up a little bit. Should be a pretty easy task. So, I mean, for the most part, it looks very, very salvageable. It does. I do know that it has compression on it, so that's it. That's another plus. So let me grab some starter fluid. I know it won't run on this gas, or if it does, it's not going to run very well. I might raise up the wheels first off, because I don't really care to be cutting rocks and stuff if I get this thing going. So I'll raise the wheels up first here real quick, and then I'll get my starter fluid and see if we can crank this thing up. I'll also lube the starter rope a little bit too, because it's a little bit frozen, or it's not frozen, but it's just a little tight. So yeah, let me go ahead and do that. I'll get the starter fluid and we'll see if we can crank this thing up. So I've got it raised up to a more appropriate cutting height, which is not cutting on the ground. I put it up to the next to the highest level on the wheel adjuster mechanism there. Very easy to do. It only took me a couple minutes to change them. So Definitely some of the easier ones to change, especially with how old the mower is. I was surprised at how easy the bolts came out. So who knows what this thing's going to do. I know it's probably going to smoke up a storm though, so if it even runs, and I'm sure it won't run on the gas that's in it, so I'm just going to throw starter fluid in it and see if it'll at least kick over and fire for us. Well, there you go. It does start. Like I said, I know I'm going to have to take old gas and stuff out of it. But at least I do know that it does crank up. I don't know how well it runs, but I will, I guess I'll get to see how well it runs whenever I take the gas out. So I'm just going to fiddle around with it. Y'all seen me take plenty of these gas tanks off. Half inch. This one's a 7/16. Comes right off. And then I'm just going to pour the gas out and try and put some new gas in and see what happens. So I'll go ahead and do that next. So I put fresh gas in it, so I'm going to try it again here. Might need some starter fluid to help me, but hopefully it'll pick up and run. Well, it cranked up by itself until until this came off of it. So I'm gonna see if I can fashion this back on. Worst comes worst, I take it back off and put it back on the right way, right? Which I might have to do. That's interesting. I've never had anything like that happen before. Let's see, hold on. Alright, so let me do that off camera so I have two hands. Which I saw it did crank up on its own. So that's kind of cool. Alright, so we're going to try this again. Got the mechanism on there a little bit more secure now. So I don't think it's going to come off. The spring and all that good stuff. It's really hard to make it so that it doesn't hit stuff in there. But let's see what we have here. Thing's dancing around all over the place. I don't know if I've got a bad like motor mount on it or bent blade or what, but it's like I said, it's dancing around pretty good. I think it's a bent shaft, I don't believe. Might try another blade on it just to see what the heck it does. I mean, I do know that it runs. I mean, we could obviously see that. So. Dancing around like crazy too. It doesn't look like the motor's come disconnect. Hopefully it's not a bent shaft. So I guess the next step will be just to get the blade off and see what I have. Like I said, hopefully it's not too bad, but I'll give it a shot. So in the process of trying to get the blade off of this Garden Pride one here, of course the it's been on there so long that I stripped the thing off whenever I took it off. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. So I'm drilling out here, and then I'm going to try and tap a bolt in there to see if I can get something to hold, because I had to get the blade off, but this is not the way I wanted to do it. Got my electric drill over there. That thing works a whole lot better than that battery powered one, especially on things like this. So I'm just keep working here and keep drilling out this hole some, and then once I get it out, drilled out enough for me, I'll tap it, and hopefully I can get a bolt to stay and be secure on the mower. And this motor, I think, is going to be a good runner. I just got to get it to where it won't be vibrating so much. So I'll keep working here. So y'all saw me tapping, I guess, the new threads for the bolt down here, and by some miracle I was able to get a bolt to tap and the threads to stay on it. So miraculously, I think, I have my safety. I mean, it's on there pretty good. So I do have my safety goggles just in case on this one. I just don't, like I said, I just don't really know. Everything seems good on it though. These old motors are really bad about, if you even tilt them on the muffler side, about getting rid of. Okay, there's plenty of gas in there, or dumping oil out. So this thing will be a smoke screen if it does crank up and if it's not vibrating on it. So we're going to give it a shot here. Who knows though. So I think that I got too much oil in the carburetor. I'm going to see if I can dilute it out and get this thing running for us. Well, good news, I guess. I got sparks coming out of the muffler. But it's cutting. vibrate nowhere near where it was, so have a new blade fix it. That. We're just going to kind of let it sit back here and run for a little bit, because I know it needs it. Sit back here a little while and run, and just I guess get acquainted with the new blade and all that good stuff. I will have to adjust the throttle linkage and all that at some point, but just the fact that it runs for right now is for, so that's good. I was a little worried when I broke the bolt off of the blade, but thankfully I was able to fix it, it looks like. So go on rolling. So I got this mower cleaned up, and I'd been having trouble starting this thing, and I finally realized what it's doing, and I'll show y'all here. Grounding itself out on the plug wire, so I'm gonna it's like a little split in the wire, so I'm gonna find some electrical tape or something of the like, cover that up, cover up the ground, and hopefully we'll have a good runner here, and I'll give you all a final look and start on it. So I thought I had this garden pride good, but when I went to do a final start on it, it would start up and not stay running like it's a bad diaphragm, but the diaphragm overall seems to be in good shape. It's not really worn out or anything, and this is one of the really old style carburetors and gas tanks for these Pulsar Prime Briggs engines. The newer ones are a little bit smaller than this. I think they only have one pickup tube. I may be wrong, but so I took this out. There's actually, you got 5 bolts on the outside, and then there's actually one more bolt in the middle that holds the carburetor on, that goes right on the side of the jet there. You see 2 holes down here, and it goes through the smaller one of the 2. The bigger one holds the air cleaner on, and I found that it seemed like this one right here was a little bit clogged, which is the main pickup, because every time I tried to blow air through it, I couldn't really blow anything through it. But now that I cleaned it out with some compressed air over there, and now I'm able to blow it cleanly through. I cleaned out the gas tank too. Really wasn't that dirty, but I guess these don't really like a lot of dirt. So I'm gonna put it back on here, whatever way that it goes. The way that I've got to figure out where it goes. It goes that way, but just got to put it back into the hole there. But yeah, yeah, I mean, not too bad. There we go. Just a little tricky, but you know, didn't take 10 minutes. It was worth my while to try out for sure. And also, don't forget, you have this little cover on the side that you have to take off to attach the rod to where the diaphragm goes. So attach that, and I'll put everything back together, and maybe this thing will run for us, hopefully. So like I said, I was struggling like crazy to try and get this thing to start on its own with the air filter cover on. What had happened is, I think that some stuff got stretched out over here in the carb spring area and stuff, and it was wasn't really working the way that it's supposed to, and I think I'm still going to have to do a little bit of adjusting on it too in order to get it 100% to where I like it to run. But as long as it cranks up this time, I'll show you all that it runs, and that it runs at a decent speed. It's got the grounding cable here on the throttle, so at least it's got that going for it. I got good play in the throttle, so let's give it a shot. It's even picking up now, so I know that carb clean helped it some, and then also adjusting the governor springs and stuff, I'm sure helped it too. Kind of glad to get this one going. This one's no more than probably a $40 mower. If I'm lucky, I'd get 50 out of it, but probably not. But like I said, just happy to get this one done. It's been a little bit frustrating. It hasn't been too bad. Just trying to get this thing to crank and run on its own. But I think I finally got it. So hopefully, fingers crossed, I can take it out tomorrow morning and it'll crank on its own. And after that, I'll be pretty I guess satisfied, but more sure that it'll be a good mower for somebody. These old Pulsar Primes are pretty decent as long as you can keep them running. And this one looked like it hadn't been long since it had a rebuild, and then, you know, covering up the split on the coil wire there eliminated the problem that I was having with the spark. So, you know, everything else seems to be good for the age of the mower and all that. So I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I apologize if it's a little bit long, as I have been this has been a little bit of a lengthy process with this little garden prod, but since I have so many mowers ready and only a few more left to look at and fix, you know, I had the time to look at it and enjoy fixing it. So I hope y'all enjoyed the journey along with me. I'll keep posting videos as I get the rest of my mowers and garden equipment done. I'm hoping that there'll be a video on that Troy built tiller right there before long. Got everything back together on it, and I'm just waiting on a carb diaphragm to come in, which should be in the next couple days. So for right now, thank you all for watching, and stay tuned for the next one.